so if that's the case, I'll just
Got you.
pop in.
Yeah.
But hi, everybody. Alar. Maud's taking a long sip of hot cocoa. We're just getting a couple things put together, waiting for a couple people to pile on in, and then we're gonna start our Epic the Musical watch party. I'm super excited. Mott's, have you seen anything of this or nar?
Nope. Except for the
Perfect.
songs, except for listening to it, except for every TikTok mess with this. That's I've really not watched a lot. Just a little
And
hair tuck.
just a little slight hair tuck, it's fine. No big deal. But yeah, I figured this would be fun. Mott's does a lot of stuff with storytelling, and I know I do. And the way that honestly the Odyssey, but also Epic the Musical kind of reads, it feels oftentimes like a little bit of a TTRPG. Not necessarily Dungeons and Dragons. I think it honestly lends itself nicely to any tabletop game. So we're gonna chat about all that stuff. Uh, why are we reacting to the old audio version? We're just basically going from animatics that have been put together. So these are animatics that have been put across YouTube. So we're using those. Because unfortunately I was not able to find any animatics set to the new audio versions. I'm the one that has seen Epic the Musical several times. Also, hi Archangel, welcome on in. So yeah, and this is Moss's first time kind of really going into all the things. But most of the rest of the stuff that I have, I think it's just for the first couple songs and then it switches to the newer audio versions. So, but yeah, hopefully that answers your questions in regards to that. But yeah, the animags are gorgeous. And don't worry, I will be shouting out the that's great. This is the one that I was able to grab real quick on the fly, Archangel, because I had to put a whole playlist together. So and like I said, we're gonna plug Gigi and a bunch of creators as well. So there will be plenty of opportunities for sure. But it definitely, if you can, listen to the new audio because but Gigi also does incredible stuff. So yeah. So yeah, no worries. Like I said, I'm all for the new audio version, all that stuff. Like I said, this is stuff that kind of was pulled together from the fly and stuff. So I see Mott's messing with I made these little content warnings for for the stream. If you're in my stream, it's in the upper corner above Mott's, just kind of hanging out there for the first.
And if you're in my stream, you saw nothing until it's good.
I love you. I really adore you. But yeah, hopefully that makes a bit more sense. Reminder that she was on to make a choice as we chill. Exactly. Thank you, Lamia. Yeah. Zeus deserves a trigger. Literally, that's why I was like, Zeus is a trigger warning in themselves, honestly. Uh
Oh, if we had the stream together, we could have a shared chat, even if we don't have video and stuff. That would be cool. But I know it breaks, right? You said it
it breaks
basically leaves you
sometimes, and
out.
then I know it'll get a little bit confusing for me with modding stuff, but like it's totally fine.
Totally fine.
Yeah, I've got my chat
Yeah,
and
let's
your
not
chat
add.
that I'm looking at.
Yeah, I have yours.
So, but yeah, like this, like I said, this is gonna be like a chill conversation. We have hot cocoa with Bailey's, and we're just kind of vibing for tonight. Just gonna chill out and stuff. So, and yeah, Zeus did a lot of messed up things, Archangel. You are correct. So,
Agreed.
yeah.
I don't
Uh,
talk about that one.
so let's see. Are you ready to dive right in, Mats? With the very first song, from the Troy Saga.
Yes, I am ready. I
Okay.
have my notebook. I have my drink. Let's. Oh.
I love it. Uh, specifically with this song and the song afterwards, I'll do another reminder. Content warnings for this, violence and gore, child death, and Zeus. So, so as a heads up, we will not see the child like death, but it's heavily implied. So just as a heads up, I believe that happens in the next song, but just wanted to pop that in now so you have some time. But let's get started, and apologies, we'll probably mess with the volume as we go. But yeah, let's get her started.
Alright, my brothers, listen closely. Tonight we make the Trojans pay. 10 years of war, they killed us slowly, but now we'll be the ones who slay. Think of your wives and your children. Your families wonder where you've been. They're growing old and yet you're still here. Do what I say and you'll see them again. Yes, sir! Diomedes will lead the charge. Agamemnon will flank the guards. Menelaus will let our mates through the gates to take the whole city at large. Teucer will shoot any ambush attacking. Little Ajax will stay back. Nestor, secure Helena, protect her. Leo, avenge your father, kill the brothers of Hector. Yes, sir! Find that inner strength now. Use that well of pride. Fight through every pain now. Ask yourself inside, what do you live for? What do you try for? What do you wish for? What do you fight for? What do you live for? What do you try for? What do you wish for? What do you fight for? Penelope, Penelope, and Telemachus. I fight for us. I fight for us. What do you live for? Penelope. What do you try for? Telemachus. What do you wish for? I'm on my way. What do you fight for? Attack! Who was that?
A vision of what is to come cannot be outrun, can only be dealt with right here and now.
Tell me how.
I don't think you're ready. A mission to kill someone's son, a foe who won't run, unlike anyone you have faced before.
Say no more. I know that I'm ready.
I don't think you're ready.
It's just an infant. It's just a boy. What sort of imminent threat does he pose that I cannot avoid?
This is the son of none other than Troy's very own Prince Hector. Know that he will grow from a boy to an avenger, one fumed with rage as you're consumed by age. If you don't end him now, you'll have no one left to save. You can say goodbye to. You can say goodbye to.
I could raise him as my
He
own.
will burn your house and throne. You'll find him wherever
Make sure
you
his past is never
The gods will make him
I'd rather
known.
pray
We're
for ya.
bringing you down
I'm on my knees for ya. I'm
Oh,
begging
this is the
please.
will of the gods.
Please don't make me do this. Don't make me do this.
The blood on your hands is something you won't lose. All you can choose is who.
All right. That was the very first song, The Horse and the Infant, done by the incredible Gigi. So please go drop a follow, check out their work. They did a lot of animatics. You okay over there, Mods?
It was just so good. The animation just adds to the feeling of like what the lyrics were starting with the music and the drumming and then seeing Penelope. I'm a sucker for yearning and like those kind of stories. So seeing that is just like, oh, my heart.
I know, I love it. Like, what a way to start off a musical, like, in it too. Like, we're already in the Trojan horse. Like, I love that it's not the journey to that point. We're starting here. This is where it starts, is the big fight. And then the rest of the time is just them trying to get home. So it's
Yeah.
absolutely kind of incredible. Like, everyone's acting and singing is incredible. Jorge, who sings for Odysseus, wrote this entire thing uh,
Hmm.
for their thesis, I think, for college, and did an
Yeah.
incredible job. Uh, and then, for those
Yeah.
that don't know, put it out on TikTok and got all these incredible people to come on in. Um, so yeah, I like that
He
because we were
already
talking.
had a point where it's like he's just a boy, and just that pain in that was like, oh, the singing like already, you're setting the tone of people who want to go home to like after all the battle and everything. You're setting that tone so quickly of just like, we I could take him back and I can do this, and I'm going back to Penelope and Telemachus, and like, oh, the underlying stuff, that was so beautiful, so pleasant. I agree. um Really, really amazing that they got that on TikTok, and it just, I I went from, this just needs to be like somewhere, it needs to be seen, it needs to be made, because it was so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really good. I also think it's interesting because we were talking about it a little bit before we started stream of like uh how this kind of reads as like a TTRPG campaign too. Where you have Zeus is that, disembodied and it kind of guidance, and I'm not saying that
Hmm.
Odysseus is a cleric in any way, shape, or form, but like that kind of relationship is very interesting. And I think it'll come into play a little bit later with some of the other relationships. Uh, but I love we're technically seeing one of the big bads of this entire show from the get-go. And we're not starting in a tavern, we're starting in a Trojan horse.
What a wild way to start your, if you're starting your D&D game, and if you are a cleric, I don't, I rarely play clerics. I play warlocks, so I can see the patron side too in that, where they're, because Odysseus does have like multiple influences in that. But with, if a cleric, you start with this and you just like, oh, actually, here's the big bad already. Let's start right now. Let me put my cards on the table and tell you exactly how this, what might happen in the future. I like that. Just right in the Trojan horse, no tavern, no easy, here's your mission. No.
Nope,
We're
not at
we're
all.
getting right in the, yep.
Well, and I love too, we have that this is the starting point that like he's already like, okay, fighting other men and stuff like that, no problem. But we're already getting a good starting point for morality, which I think is gonna be one of the major themes for this entire musical is that kind of measure and the line that Odysseus is kind of bouncing in between when it comes to that. But going back to your warlock point real quick, it just gave me the idea of like, because I've never done this, but now I'm kind of tempted to throw this into a campaign of like having a warlock that has a patron that, sure, maybe a fae, but maybe the fae works
Hmm.
for another. Like, what if your patron is actually like major player, but works under another? So they have to do the stuff for both your patron, but also their their boss. Like, is that a thing that?
It That, I will say this, and I will play that again. Warlock is one of my favorites because of that relationship. I see that in Will and Mizora, because Mizora does
Mm,
seem to have other people, even if they're not working for them, they have other needs and other things. So they're kind of using you to get somewhere. And so that relationship between a warlock and patron doesn't necessarily have to be, I have all this power and I'm giving this to you. here's an opportunity. And
Yeah.
that's how I see it as like, let's win, mutually benefiting, like, circumstances. I give you some power, maybe you'll get something that I'll need. You don't need to know all about that. That's in my job description over here. That's why I love in playing them, because that dynamic is so fun to realize later on, like, oh, you you might be good or bad, or like whatever you have your own stuff. That's wild.
Mhm. How many warlocks have you played up to this point, do you think? Or warlock adjacent if you've done other systems?
I played a lot. I played um Warlock is not my favorite, but it's my favorite dynamic to play, and I will try to play it in different systems. The last one I played in a witches game, which is coming out soon. I
Ooh.
played a witch who was like a deity witch who was given time powers. I base them off of Astarion. I base it off Astarion's urge for power and this power hungry witch who made a deal with Morrigan. And Morrigan gave them time powers. But what the Morrigan didn't reveal is that Alcina only had a day to use them. So Alcina figured that out like at 11:59 p.m. and used the time magic to wind the day back one day, and for 80 years she's been running away from Morrigan, like pretty much to
That's so
winding the time
cool.
back over and over, like pissing her off even more and more. And whenever the time gets close to 12 p.m., Morrigan comes, like appears, pretty much saying, "Where have you been?" Just like like creepily coming back into Alcina's life. But I've played a lot of warlocks. I think it's nearing the double digits at this point. My favorite character, their warlock, is based off of the outsider from Dishonored.
Mm.
They're not a evil character. They're just, I have power. I want to see what they would do with it.
Yeah.
Kind of patron. Like so. Played a lot of warlocks. I enjoy that dynamic. So that's why I could see that with a couple of the relationships between gods and characters in Epic.
Yeah.
Um, Opportunistic is kind of how I see it. Just let me put my bet in on this person. That's where I see warlock patron.
I love that. No, that's really cool. I have not had as much experience with warlock, to be honest. I have played it in total 2 times. So, this is definitely getting me, like, some ideas and stuff, but chat, what are some of your initial thoughts too? Like, yes, this will be Mott's and I chatting, but this is an open discussion with everyone. We're kind of vibing, like I said, I got hot cocoa and Bailey's. I know Mott's has hot cocoa over there as well. So, but this is just an opportunity for all of us to kind of vibe and stuff like that, and hang out. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah.
Warlock's based off of Greek myth. What do I roll? Nate. It's such a vibe. I
Mm.
imagine having a patron like Athena or Aphrodite, like showing
Ooh.
up. Um, or I could see the anger of Hera coming to your door saying, so, like, Zeus pissed me off. I need you, and just being like, giving you that power. If but for a moment. Which I think is, uh, ooh, I'm trying to think of the right act,
Well,
but it works.
and here, to expand too, I could see, since I know Matsu and I talk about Disney every now and then, I feel like Meg was a warlock for Hades without any actual, like, powers too.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like,
I do think it's a pact of the chain because Hades,
yes.
like, yep, yep.
Yeah, 1000% that. Um,
Their minions were like, "We'll help, we'll follow you around," kind of
yeah.
thing.
Pain and panic. Reporting for duty. But I could definitely see that coming to play. I could see Aries too if he's, like, thinking things are too peaceful, like,
Hmm.
wanting to start shit, just wanting that
Yep.
to explore that a bit. Um, but then again, there's also just Zeus, because Zeus. So
Hmm.
incredible.
Agreed.
Oh, hang on one second.
So before we go for the second one,
Yeah.
you're thinking cleric and cleric of Zeus.
For Odysseus, no. No. I
Okay.
think, I'm going more in the line with the warlock, but, like, Zeus, we know is, like, head of all the gods and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So, I'm thinking it's the situation that I mentioned earlier of, like, "Oh, this is my boss's boss." Like,
Yeah.
yo, telling me, "Hey, you're gonna need to, go ahead and take care of this other problem, or else, this is gonna be an issue later on, and everything you're working for is just gonna turn to dust," because it's just yeah, that's what I'm getting to, Azra. I'm just trying to be careful not to say stuff because I know Mott's hasn't seen everything. So, I think we'll see that come into play shortly. Um,
I will say I growing up, just so epic related, I don't need spoilers,
sure.
but when I was a kid, I was that nerd that rewrote the Iliad and the Odyssey as
Same.
poems. So I know like that story.
Okay.
Like
Okay, cool. Then
I'm good
yes.
on that. Yeah.
To
I'm
repeat
good on that.
to repeat what Azra was saying in my chat was, if Odysseus is a warlock, he'd be one for Athena for sure. And that's exactly what I think is kind of happening here is like Zeus is fully aware that like this has been happening for a while. So, but also he's Zeus. He doesn't give a shit. So,
Yes. Yes.
but yeah, incredible. Are y'all ready to move on to the next one? Okay. As a reminder for the next one, content warnings again, I'm going to reiterate them as well, which are violent score, child death, grooming, the ocean, and Zeus. So be on the lookout. And here we go.
I look into your eyes and I think back to the sun of mine. You're as old as he was when I left for war. Will these actions haunt my days? Every man I've slain is the price I pay. Endless pain. Close your eyes and spare yourself the view. How could I hurt you? I'm just a man who's trying to go home, even after all the years away from what I've known. I'm just a man who's fighting for his life. Deep down I would trade the world to see my son and wife. I'm just a man. But when does a comet become a meteor? When does a candle become a blaze? When does a man become a monster? When does a ripple become a tidal wave? When does the reason become the blame? When does a man become a monster? I'm just a man.
And that's just a man.
That this is the one I have seen every bajillion version of TikTok on. Like all the Baldur's Gate characters, all the way down to an like Astarion screaming. No, even Karlach screaming is one
Yeah.
of my favorite scenes. To the line, to a monster, and
Mhm.
I've seen it through multiple different ways, and I'm just still, it makes me just so hype. Yep, ready. Like my heart's pounding. I'm ready. Like, am I going to war? Like, I'm like, let's go.
What are some of your initial thoughts?
Um,
Now that you're seeing it in this medium, because I have also seen it from the Baldur's Gate, because it's
mhm,
just so good. But now seeing it with this imagery, that's again the animators, and this is another one made by Gigi. Did an incredible job, and we'll talk about. There's a couple that are coming up that I'm like, it's very interesting if you watch different animatics, with their interpretation of what's going on. Cause some are way twisted than some of the other ones of, like, what's happening. But yeah,
mhm.
what are some, initial thoughts for you?
Initial thoughts are one, the beginning, where it starts with them leaving their family to the child at the end, and it's like seeing the animation of like similar situations, but then him holding out that baby, just saying, "I'm just a man," and that my brain thinks, "Are you like, are you really like? Has things
Mm.
have changed? Like, are you just like really?" So the animation is wonderful because it definitely evokes that feeling of uh similar situations, but you're having to make some evil decisions, and uh saying just a man, just having to do this is the lyrics kind of trying to like paint that picture of this character making those decisions, but I also think in the back of his head he's like knowing that somebody would do this if someone went to his home too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I that's what I think. The animation does that really well to make you feel, oh, they are in a, oh, what point does weakness become an excuse?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the words.
'Cause, I mean, with that argument, I mean, you can argue away and justify anything with that kind of mindset. So, like, again, morality kind of coming into play. He really doesn't wanna do this, but I like the imagery too of the child is the roots and the tree that's kind of growing out was
Yep.
such a visceral image of, like, all the different paths that could happen, uh, from just this one choice,
Yep.
which is so interesting, and you can see how conflicted he is. Now, again, a great starting point in terms of morality, with how he's, like, even just taking this life, which has not done anything except exist,
hmm
is
I
rocking him.
enjoy that. Yeah, I enjoy the ripple effect, or the, hold on, let me close my door real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
The ripple effect of like choices. If we're going to talk about D&D, lots of games I like to run, I like to put that in there just to have that effect of making that world alive, because um talking to the person who runs the bar, they had a busy schedule. They've been working all day. They got family at home. If you're going to cause a ruckus at their bar, then you get like come back after a few months to the same like city or town. They're probably still building that like tavern up. They're going to see you and be like, "At you, not allowed," And I like that kind of ripple effect of like in worlds. So seeing the tree was my favorite part as well in this, because it's years, right, that it takes.
Yeah.
So um,
Yeah,
it's
he's
good to
gone for a
see that.
while.
He's went shopping for milk and didn't come back for a long time.
Yeah, went shopping for milk, fell asleep in the car,
hmm
someone decided to
Took the
take the
wrong turn.
car. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Had to go get the car. Yep.
Yep. Got a parking ticket, had to go deal with that.
Got to
Mhm.
pay it off. Yep.
Got it, yep. Then it got impounded. Uh,
Ah,
uh,
then he was, stranded for a little bit, then had to figure another ride, you know?
Uber wasn't working.
Had to download the Lyft app
Yeah.
because my goodness, he deleted it months ago. Never thought he would need it.
I love it. Incredible. Well, are we ready to move on to song number 3?
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. Let me snooze this ad real quick. And like I said, this is another one made by Gigi. Please go and subscribe to their